Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Hopefully you all can hear me. Let's see. Let's try to see if we can hear me. Can you hear me? I'll wait and see if I get a response here. I don't have my second in command here. Hello, everybody. I see everybody in the chat. Welcome, welcome. Wonderful, wonderful. Um, okay. Just trying to get everything ready here. I apologize. Again, technical difficulties, getting everything set up. Um, I appreciate the feedback in the chat. Hopefully, this will be a little bit more polished as the semester goes on, but we are learning together. This is similar to how a lot of us learned during the pandemic. But I'm taking the lessons that we learned from the pandemic and the lessons that I have learned studying social media and obviously humanities. Uh, Hello, everybody. And trying to apply that to a kind of new way of learning. So I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you um, giving this a shot with me. And I'll be happy to answer any questions, happy to provide any feedback. Again, I have weekly office hours. Um, Monday, Wednesday on TikTok, 3 to 4 Eastern time. You can also catch me on that stream or on TikTok various times throughout the day, often in the morning when I'm checking emails and working on coursework. I am loaded up and alive. I will at least connect the humanities page if it's my live. If it isn't, often I'll be on my Dr. Dutch Hilligan account, which I link in on the webpage. So again, you can go to the webpage and check it out. So that is always an option. The Humanities 101 TikTok is the official, so that's where I hold my office hours. But if you need to find me, I'm around. A lot of you have been emailing me, um, either through your college email or through the email through the website, and that is great. I have been able to respond in real time very quickly. A lot of you have had fairly instantaneous feedback. Again, the good benefit of this structure is that I can be responsive. Um, the Ollie, everything will be on humanities101.org. So if you go to the assignments page right now, and I was actually going to talk about that, so that's a perfect segue. If you go to the assignments page right now on humanities101.org, you are going to see the handouts for tonight, the course schedule. Um, so I mean, you may want to go there if you're on your phone or on your computer. You may want to check that out right now because we're going to be looking at the Divinity, Law, and Humanities handout that's on the assignments page. But if you go to the assignments page, what you'll see are the midterm assignment has already been linked, and after tonight, the first side quest will be linked. Now, the first side quest, again, these are little mini videos that you'll be doing where you're going to be answering some questions. Now, again, if you're concerned, I know some people are concerned about posting certain answers online. That is fine. There is also a submission page on humanities101.org. You can go in there, enter your name, enter your email address that, again, you want the grade sent to, and then you will plug in your link. As soon as you plug in your link, you'll hit submit. That will send to me. I will get that link. So if you want to set up a private YouTube channel, if you want to set up a private Vimeo channel, anything like that, as long as you make sure that you set the permissions so that doc@humanities101.org can read the file and only that email, you should be okay. Because I know a lot of people are worried about privacy, and I get that. I get that. So that is an option. And again, being responsive to what we're doing and how we're learning. But again, we're going to be doing a lot of this out in the open and gaining a perspective from doing that because we are going to maybe have some situations where we might all be having a wonderful conversation here and some rando on YouTube scrolls in, just as we might if we were sitting in a classroom on campus somewhere. Now, again, I have trusted friends and colleagues that are here watching over this space, and they can contact me on the various devices that I have here. I kind of feel like I work at NASA now. I never thought as a humanities professor I'd be looking at so many screens and windows and cords, but thank God I was a sound man in high school and college. So um, I will not be posting. I'll try to send the stuff to Instagram. I need to relink it, so I will work on that. Let me put that on my list of things to do. I will check that out tomorrow during my social media time. I've got some time scheduled that I go through the socials, so I will put down check out Instagram, and what I'll try to do is just set it so that it automatically links and automatically sends those videos. And great question. There's a question about do you have to show your face? No, you do not have to show your face. This is the 21st century. Okay. It's you are sending this to me. You are posting this to me. This is a humanities class. If you are going to cheat at humanities class, and there are people who try, um, you've got bigger fish to fry than I can handle. Okay. You're going to get caught eventually, maybe not by me, but I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about you learning. Okay, I'm worried about you having an experience that matters to you, which is why the first mini assignment is all about how you define humanity. Because I like to get a litmus and a stick my finger in the air and feel how um, what different people, different generations, different ideas of what humanity is. Um, and there's a question about can we just do an audio recording? I would like it to be audio visual. Now, that does not have to be you. Okay, again, you do not have to be on screen. It could be. I was talking with Shai, who helps me produce on here, and Shai suggested, what about if you? Because I know some people are more comfortable writing a paper, right? And I get that. You can write a paper and you can have AI read it. You can shoot a video while you scroll and screen capture slowly while the AI reads it. Now, that's going to be a boring video visually, but it's going to hit the goal and it's going to be adaptive and communicative to all different kinds of people. I might think it's boring. Someone else might think it's boring, but there might be a whole series of people that find it absolutely fascinating exactly the way in which they want to learn. And that's what this whole experience is about. How do you want to communicate what you think other people should learn? So I'm not worried about seeing your face. All right. I am not worried about production value. If you want to sit there and you want to have hand drawn pictures and shoot it with your cell phone, that's fine. Um, and again, everything is done on humanities101.org. So there is no Moodle, there is no Blackboard. Everything is done there and here. And again, you will submit your assignments on humanities101.org through the submission page. That is protected. It goes to me and me only. I am the one that has control over it. That is not the case when it's set into Moodle. Okay, and there's a reason why I do that, and it's for your protection and for mine. Okay, I want to make sure that the information that you want to keep private stays private between you and I, because there are federal privacy laws between teacher and student, professor and student, that don't always transfer to other people. And so, can you just submit yourself answering the questions? Yes, Brittany, totally. Sit in front of the video, sit in front of the camera and do that. I've already started getting some submissions that people are saying, hey, is this okay? Is this a good draft? And that's fine. So, yeah, I'm old school too. I just have had to get some cool audio equipment. So, all right. So I'm trying to keep up with the questions here. How exactly will participation be graded, like attending these live streams where you find us based on username? Yes, that's why when you signed up for the class, you gave me avatars, right? So if you are, Dearborn high school football rules, right? Then I know that that's you. And this gives you protection as well, right? So if you want to, because we know that the world that we live in, even though it's big, it is very small and people know you and people know people who know you. And so if you want to stay completely anonymous, you can. I will be the only person who knows who you are. You don't think my streaming software is using the correct mic? Let me see here. Let me see here. What about now? Is it working now? I think it may be working. No, maybe not. Hold on. No. Well, now I'm all screwed up. Now I can't hear anything. Right? No, you can hear nothing. You can hear nothing. No, it's working. All right. Okay. I will I will work on this. This is why I need to have my confidants here. And no, there's nothing due tonight. Nothing is due tonight. Okay. Um, I really want to impress upon you that this class is not about product. This class is not about checking off boxes. Okay. This class is about interaction and learning. So I want you to think about the topics. I want you to, and we're going to be reading, right? And yes, you're going to see your grade throughout the semester. It's going to be emailed to you. You're going to have your grade. All right. Yes, and I know that some people their real name shows up on YouTube, and I know that also some of you didn't realize that that happens on social medias when they have linked social medias. Because I know I was in the middle of doing some things, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was doxing myself. But again, I I I have merged those two identities now. Okay, so I'm going to try to keep up here. I've missed some questions. Hold on. Can you see our grade? I'm at my handle. Okay. Is there any way you can see our grade before the semester ends? All right. You will be getting grades. How many assignments are there going to be in the midterm? All right. The midterm is a series of questions. I am not sure how you're going to answer those questions. So I said a series of videos. Some of you may want the more private things to be private and the more public things to be public. And that's also why I said a series of videos. If you want to sit in front of the camera, like Brittany's probably going to do, and just answer the questions, cool. All right. That is fine. Just sit in front of the camera and answer the questions. Um, the Turing test is what you're doing for the midterm. You're going to prove that you're not a robot and that you're a real human. Okay. I will be posting my own answers to the Turing test. I will probably do it here, and then I will post it here on the YouTube channel so that you can watch it and get a good sense. So that way it gives everybody a good sense and get you here. And yes, Ollie, you can submit using the side quest. You can submit via YouTube and private links as well. That submission page is for any project that you want to keep private. But I highly recommend maybe trying one assignment that is not private. All right. Again, not required. I'm not going to punish you if you don't, but I would completely suggest. No, again, you can come back and watch this at any time. You can request or you can comment in real time. You can comment after the fact. I will be here tomorrow. Okay. Where can we see the due date for the assessment? I believe those are on the assignments page on the website, but I will write that down and double check. Due dates. Double check that the due dates are on there. I believe that it's on the assignments page already. So if you go to the assignments page on humanities101.org, you will find that. Yes, the midterm assignment's already posted. However, you have not gotten your decade yet. Okay, because what we're going to be doing for the midterm is you're going to be assigned, I'm going to be giving you a lot of resources on the 20th century history. We're going to be talking about the 20th century. We're going to be talking about what people mean when they say make America great and whatnot. Again, what do they mean? And I'm going to talk about how we're going to be talking about that here in a few minutes. All right, I'll talk about how we're going to frame that because we're going to frame that through a humanities lens. It's not going to be through a political lens. It's not going to be through a sociological lens. It's going to be through a little bit of everything. Okay. Um, so basically, you can participate, or the midterm is going to be I'm sorry, I was reading the questions too. The midterm is going to be a food anthropology assignment where you're going to be assigned a decade and a social class. And I'm going to randomly assign this based upon your first name and last name. Okay, and they're going to be a series of here's the chart, and here's your first name, that's your decade. Here's your last name, falls in this category. Here's your social class. Okay, and you're going to research that decade. You're going to research that social class, and you're going to choose an item of food that is exemplifies that decade. Yes, everyone can be assigned one Facebook user. Everyone's going to be assigned a decade. So again, your assignment will be based upon your first name, last name, which we'll know your initials based upon if we go 1980s, they could probably be J through M, and their first name is A through D. Okay, but it still can be really anonymous. But I want you to do a deep dive into the humanities research of that food artifact because this could be economics, this could be politics, this could be post-war issues, this could be the fact that soldiers came home from World War II and said, I want pizza. I ate this wonderful thing when I was in Europe and I want it now, right? Or Coca-Cola, Tootsie Rolls, all these things. So we're going to talk oranges, yes, trade routes, sugar politics, all of this stuff. And so it's a really fun project, and it's a great way to get at history without doing a project on the War of 1812 again, again, again. All right. And you will find that other people are interested in learning these things too. Um, and so that is going to be the midterm. The first side quest is all about an introduction. So after tonight, you will have some information to go off of. Now, if you've already done the project, that's fine. But you can go off of tonight's discussion and kind of jump off from there and discuss your definition of humanity. How do you see us as different from, as we'll talk about tonight, the angels or the animals? Okay. So that will be the first side quest. And then the second side quest is going to be about your favorite foods from your childhood, something fun like that. Okay. And why? I will assign that very shortly. Probably next week, I will post that too. Now, due dates. When are these due? Oh my God, when are these due? Midterm is due on the 26th of October. I expect that the side quests be turned in before then. If you need deadlines given for the side quests, I can give you deadlines. However, I think you can also set your own deadlines. Very shortly on our website, I'm going to have a project planning sheet that you can use for all of your classes. And you can start with the deadline and you say, this is when the project's due. Here are the things I need to do. Now, how do I do it? So I'm going to be working through that worksheet this week and building that out for you. But basically, you are doing, okay, again, you have a midterm and a final. They're videos. In between the midterm and a final, you have 2 mini videos. So total, 4 mini videos, 2 big videos. Midterm, final, 4 assignments. Now, you can choose not to do those 4 assignments if you are a master participator in everything. You come to the lives, you comment, you TikTok, you do everything. You're a social media hound. Don't worry about the side quests. But the side quests are a wonderful way to hit 2 of the 3 ways that you can participate. You can attend these lectures and participate in the comments. You can participate in the comments after the fact. Okay. I know you're commenting. I see that you're commenting, right? Or you can also do the side quests. There will be times even where I might invite people up for panel if you guys want to come up and discuss some things when we get to holidays or we get to whatever. And thank you, Deanna. That's the whole point of this. Do we get extra credit if we do everything? Yeah, if you get, I fully believe in giving A plus pluses in participation. Will it make up for not doing a midterm and a final? No, it's only 33% of your grade, but I will bump it up to 40% of your grade. So, you know, again, we can wheel and deal. So the side quests are not required. Technically, nothing is required. I've had students take classes. I've taught at college for 20 years. I've had students take classes and not turn in a single paper, not show up for an exam, nothing. And I pulled them aside and said, you know, you're going to fail this class. And they said, yeah, I know. I love this class. Come every day. You're great. But you don't want to pass? No, don't have any need to. So I don't know why you're here. And I'm going to, again, try to figure out why you're here. Try to help you figure out why you're here if you don't know why you're here. But if at bare minimum, you decide, hey, I don't want to do anything. Don't do anything. That's fine. But when it comes to grade time, don't come for me when there is nothing for me to assess. Okay? Because I'm going to look at those submissions, and that's what I'm going off of. All right. Okay, so any other questions from the midterm and final? How many minutes do they have to be? Again, I'm looking for 3 to 10 minutes, in between 3 to 10 minutes for those projects. So they're going to be a little bit more in-depth. They're going to be a little bit more involved, but I think the research will be a little bit more interesting because I don't expect you to crack open a book unless it's an old recipe book, like that you found at grandma's. Or like I want you watching commercials. I want you going, okay, what did kids in the 80s eat? Oh, Kraft mac and cheese, that's interesting, or whatever, okay? How do we know when are the small assignments you just mentioned due? Again, the side quests are due before you turn in your midterm. If you want to turn them all in at the same time, that's fine too. If you want to put them all on one video, that's fine. I would not suggest doing it in one take because you think it sounds easy, but it's not. Pudding pops. And Miss Julie, I have had people do pudding pops in the past. And when we used to be not virtual and physically in class and it was safe to do so, we'd have a potluck. And I had a student make pudding pops. I also interestingly had a student who talked in the 90s about how McDonald's went from fried apple pies to baked apple pies. And since she was a manager at McDonald's, she brought in, it's coffee, it's always coffee, guys. She brought in a buttload of apple pies that she fried at McDonald's in the morning and there was a whole generation of people that were like, I've never tasted a McDonald's apple pie. It was the best class ever. It was awesome. So, all right. So 3 to 10 minutes is what we're looking at for those projects. And you don't have to edit your videos, Miriam. I'm really not looking at your editing quality, but I know some people really enjoy that and they get a kick out of that. So if you want to go all out. I've had students who have gotten the 1940s and they do the whole thing in a transatlantic accent, see? And they shoot the whole video. And so, no, it's not Irish coffee. It is straight up black coffee. With if people don't know out there in YouTube land, I have a tiny itty bitty bariatric surgery tummy, and I don't drink alcohol because it goes right to your brain when you do that, and it's very dangerous in my medical condition. So I appreciate you, and mazel tov if you do, but yeah. I don't do total points. I do whole letter grades. So you will get A, C, and you'll get A, B, and C really, unless you don't do anything. All right. Again, you have to try to fail this class, and again, that's something that I would say speaks more on your personal humanity than it would on my teaching style. Yes, turning in side quests before midterms, participation. Commenting here, participation. Commenting after the fact, participation. All of these things are ways. Come to my office hours, participation. Office hours are fun. We do, I had a dance party the other day. We do trivia sometimes. I have some books on curious phrases and like their meanings and where they come from and stuff. So we're going to be talking about all kinds of weird stuff. And the great thing is that those office hours, if you have problems in other classes, if you have issues, let me know. Send me an email. I can meet with you. We can meet virtually. We can meet in person. Um, but those office hours are for that too. I've had people come in and go, "Hey, I'm doing research in this class. I need help fact checking X, Y, and Z." And so we do that. Again, the whole purpose that I'm looking at is making this learning fun. Sharifa, I posted that, and you can go back and watch it. I'm going to move on. Okay, so I'm gonna move on. But are there any other basic questions before I move on that I haven't covered so far? Office hours 3 to 4, Monday, Wednesday, Eastern time. So, and remember, there will be a time change. So, if you are overseas, if you are in a different place, or if you're in one of those states that says, I don't care about how you change time, I'm not changing time, please note that there will be a time change, which is why I, always remind people it's 9:30 Eastern for this. And that schedule again is on Humanities 101 and Monday, Wednesday, 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern. But I'm also on at random times. And I get it. I understand that all this flexibility is a perfectionist nightmare, which is why I said if you want deadlines, you email me. You email me, and what I will do is I will work up a deadline sheet and I will send that to you. And I will say, anybody else want a deadline sheet? And I will send that deadline sheet to everyone who wants it. Okay. But the people who don't want that, I'm not going to send that. Okay. I try to be everything to all people. Why the hell not? It's my class. I'll try. All right. So, any other questions that are basic? Here we go. So, turning in our assignments for video grade. And yes, it's turning in those assignments and participating in the learning community, right? Through YouTube, there's a Facebook group, there's LinkedIn, there is the Instagram, which I'm going to double check on. There's TikTok, there's multiple TikToks. All right. So active participation in your learning is how you're going to get that 3% of your grade. So if you only do the midterms and you're like, hey, I'm just going to pop in and say good morning sometimes, uh, then you can send me a link from your Dropbox for the videos. You can send me that link. I don't want to own any of your stuff. I don't want to keep ownership or possession of any of your things. That's the whole point of this. I want you to have your property and your intellectual property protected. I did a lot of work in undergraduate and graduate school for my professors that went on to be published in books, and I never got credit for it. I'm not going to be one of those people, and so I'm pushing this from the get go. You protect your stuff. Keep your intellectual property for yourself. Yes, and you do get participation credit for commenting on each other's videos, reposting, duetting, stitching, creating a community, boosting each other up. I mean, hell, you could duet and just go, look at that guy. And it'll help boost the message, right? And the great thing is because we're students from all over the world, all over the place, um, we're going to be pushing different ideas of normal onto an unexpected world in a very happy and positive way. And again, Michigan people, a big. All right. Um, so yes, that was a really good question. All right. So I wanted to talk a little bit about general humanities here and kind of what you can expect as far as what is this class? Because I am sure that a lot of you, if you didn't come here through social media links or through LinkedIn or one of these different ways, you probably came through the college, right? And you were told to take a humanities class because it's good for you. You were told to you have to take social science, you have to take a math, you have to take an English, you got to take a humanities. And you went to the list and you said humanities 101, sign up for that one. And that's okay. That's okay. Some of you may have taken this class specifically because of me, because you were told to take this class, something like that. All of those things are all valid reasons to be here. But this class, I will tell you, is probably one of the most dangerous in colleges today. If you look at a lot of the political issues that are going on with books and theories and classes and what can be taught and what can't be taught and who can teach it and who can't teach it, it all comes down to this. It comes down to the things that we use to define our stories. And that's what humanities is about. It's not the story of what happened. It's not the facts. Because if you're looking for that, keep looking. Even if you go to a history class, keep looking. Humanities is about the stories that we tell that kind of help us understand how we got here, help us understand who we are, help us understand why we are. Okay. And so when we look at how this whole thing started, uh, oh, I can't, okay. uh, the um, the humanities started when the academy starts. And if you go to Humanities 101 and you go to the assignments page, you're going to see um, the Divinity, Law, and Humanities handout. And it's got some mountains on it. It's kind of mustard colored with some purple text, some red text, and some yellow text. Okay, a purple circle, a red circle, and a yellow circle. So if you go in there and you find that handout, you're going to see that I've separated the humanities and I put them on the bottom. All right, I did. I put them on the bottom. Then I left a group out there. All right, I'm sorry, biology majors, but you biology majors and physics majors and stuff. The world is under our feet, and for a large portion of the time in which the ivory tower existed, and you'll see the ivory tower over to the left by the H in the graphic. Um, the ivory tower existed to help us understand our place in this world, because we knew in the ancient world one thing: we knew that there was something other than us, a sun, a god, a something, right? Um, and so a lot of the original institutions of learning were all about studying that being, studying God, divinity, priests, sheikhs, rabbis, um, gurus. The ancient university was about teaching godly people. And then, the other subjects were because we got this question for, well, here we are studying God or the gods or the divine. How does that help us? And then this brand of lawyers came about, and they said, the law, that is the place between the gods and us. For the gods give us divine thought or has given us the law, right? In some traditions, the gods literally give the law. Um, and so when that happens with this whole, divinity and law thing, everything else falls under the humanities. And for a large portion of academia, up until really to, well, 100 years ago or so, the seven classic liberal arts, which are also on that worksheet, um, included things like geometry, arithmetic, and astronomy, along with music, logic, rhetoric, grammar. So the idea of the stories about who we are largely based in the various ways in which we study how we are. politics, history, music, art, dance, food, fashion, sports, anything that is part of this human experience is part of this class. And that's maybe why you're confused because you've never been asked to explore your human experience. And like I said, because it's dangerous. It's dangerous to people in power. It's dangerous to the status quo. It's dangerous to old ideas if you learn how to question those ideas. And that's what the humanities is all about. Critical thinking, the soft skills that employers talk about. And it is different from other classes. Humanities, even though it falls within, music and the arts, and if you look at the subjects that you can get for college credit within the humanities, they're vast and varied. This will be greatly different from an English literature class. I know. I used to be an English literature professor. I thought that was the way to answer the question. You could sit in a political science class. You could sit in a world religions class. You could sit in a philosophy class. I know. I went and got degrees in all of those things in order to find answers to these questions. Um, so, in that study, what I found was different interpretations that were written by us. Even when I looked at law, even when I looked at divinity, I saw us. Every time I saw us. And when we looked at the world, we reflected ourselves in that world. We projected. We overthought about what other people think, but not our own selves. We'll overanalyze what other people say, but not our own selves. We'll critically examine how they define success, but we never think, well, maybe we define success the same way. And interestingly, that's one of the studies that we're going to look at because success is one of those nebulous things that everyone talks about, but no one can really define. What do you mean by being successful, right? Um, so I do, and I love teaching literature. I love teaching literature. I love teaching film. That's why I ended up teaching humanities because I get to teach all of it. So, um, so in this class, we're going to be looking at those things that I always say make us less than the angels and more than the animals. And I will get to a point in the semester where I will reject that and tell you that I'm full of shit and that we're not any different than either of those things. So hang out and hang on because I will even contradict and tell you that here are some stories about the way things are, and here are some other conflicting stories about the way things are. What do we think? Which ones are right? Which ones sound better? And I haven't stopped teaching literature. I still teach literature. I plan on teaching, to expand the Humanities 101 org classes to include some introduction to literature classes, maybe some intro to philosophy classes. Um, so, things that would equate to 131, 130, philosophy 130, things like that, even a world religions class. So again, these are going to be things that I expand upon as we go throughout the time. Um, okay, these kind of like hypothetical questions. They are hypothetical, I guess, except that we've been struggling for answers throughout this entire real existence. And I posted the humanities questions up there too for you, the kind of great philosophies questions, right? Why are we here? Where's our place in the world? And I think that those help get your mind around the idea. But you'll notice, even on that sheet, I tell you, we're not going to answer these questions. You're probably going to spend your whole life searching for answers to those questions. But as Socrates said, a life that is unexamined is a life not worth living. And so I would say that if you don't ask those questions, what are you doing here? Are you more than the animals? Are you less than the angels? Okay. Um, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. All right. Hey, Travis. Okay, so there's another question here. Do I like teaching literature or humanities better? Depends on my mood. It depends on the class. And I haven't taught literature in a while. I was running the honors program for a good 3 years, but I stepped back on that a couple of weeks ago to teach humanities again full time and to focus on expanding the reach of humanities education and seeing if we can take it to a larger audience. Oh, Sabrina asked a very good question. Do I think that there's a fixed answer to these questions? No, absolutely not. You're going to answer them differently. I'm going to answer them differently, and then come back next week, and we're both going to answer them differently. So and I think that that's the cool thing about asking these questions is that we get to revisit those ideas. And the question, how long have I been teaching the humanities? Hold on, I got to look on my wall at my degree and go, okay, 12 years. Because I was halfway through my second master's degree when I was eligible to teach humanities. It was a fallow class at our school. It was laying there untouched. It hadn't been taught in years. And I took the class. I rewrote the course master. I petitioned the U.S. Department of Education to certify me to teach humanities. Everyone at the college said, "Why are we teaching? Nobody wants to take this class." And now, 12 years later, we have two full-time humanities professors, and we have millions of dollars in humanities grants flowing through the school. So it's a valuable subject. And if you'll notice that a lot of STEM, and I know that a lot of you are STEM majors, you'll notice that a lot of people are talking about STEAM now. They're throwing an A in there, and that A is for the arts because people like Steve Jobs and people like even Zuckerberg and Musk's and those guys understand the importance of uh, form sometimes, the importance of beauty, the importance of an artistic mind, because function isn't always the end all. All right. So yeah, and again, just interesting little side note: the Lego Challenge this year for robotics teams all throughout the country deals with STEAM. So the world has changed. Sometimes we're a little slower to pick up, but I'll be honest with you: a lot of you are under 20 in the chat here. Um, I've learned that from you guys. So keep teaching me, and I'll keep teaching you. Okay, so I'm going to spend about 5 more minutes answering some questions, and then I'm going to go over to TikTok and do an after show. All right, so yes, the side quests are to make videos, but like I said, you can make videos using AI. You can type out your answers, and if you're really smart, what's the new app that reads, and you can even have Snoop Dogg do your video for you, right? I mean, how cool would it be for Snoop Dogg to do your side quests? And if you don't know who Snoop Dogg is, kids, he is a rapper. He is not just the guy who sometimes cooks with Martha Stewart. All right. Or the guy on your parents' wine. Okay. Can we film a normal video and submit it on? Yes. Yeah, totally. You can, that submission link, that's what it's for. I like all kinds of music. And you'll notice as well that we have a Spotify channel as well. So if you're interested in connecting with music and sharing playlists, we are going to connect that way as well. So I added that today, and am connecting the office hours playlists and the suggestions that you send me for music that I can listen to during office hours. I will build playlists for that too. Yeah, thank you. Speechify is the one with Snoop Dogg. All right. It does freak me out a little bit too. AI does, but we're going to be talking about that this semester when we get after the midterm, because this first half of the semester, we're going to be looking at 20th century general humanities stuff. And after the midterm, we're going to be looking at the future. So we kind of do past and future. And then hopefully, you'll have the skills to analyze the present. I'm hoping. Okay. All right, Professor, please submit a video. Will you be the only one seeing it? Yes, if you set the parameters that way, Ollie, I will be the only one seeing it. For the side quest, I'm going to take a video and upload it to YouTube unlisted. That's perfect. And then share the link with me. That exactly is. The lecture schedule is up on the assignments page right now. It's a document with me in a top hat and a monocle. So when you see the me looking kind of like the Monopoly guy, it is a purplish document. And so if you find that document, that'll have the schedule. I think the next scheduled lecture is on the, what is it, the 4th of October will be the next lecture. And we're going to be talking about the 20th century, and we're going to be talking about kind of overall 20th century history. In the meantime, between now and then, what I'll be doing on the YouTube channel is posting a couple playlists for 20th century history. I love Crash Course. If you don't know what Crash Course is, you will by the end of the semester. So again, I'll be posting some playlists to help you understand 20th century. And some of those will be, hey, check out what MTV looked like in the 80s. Hey, here are the coolest, or the top 10 songs of this decade in the next 10 minutes, and so forth and so on. So some of the videos will be more entertaining. Some of them will be more informative. Okay. And yes, you will submit the video links all through humanities101.org. The only thing that I do on Moodle is post your, I'll post your grades. For those of you at the college, I will post your grades on Moodle. And I post the syllabus on Moodle. But other than that, everything is done on humanities101.org. The only reason that I post those things on Moodle is so that you have a second proof of them, and that the college has record of them, and that you can have both your private record, which I will send you, and your public record, which the college has. And you'll get to know your grades again. I'll be grading midterms and submitting them back to you probably within that week. I don't like to hold grades as long as some other professors do. I really like to turn that stuff around within 7 days. So, usually what I do after you turn in your midterm is hide out and watch a bunch of videos, because I have 160 videos to watch, again, so think about, 3 minutes times 160. Oh my God, he's going to be sitting there for that long. And that's if you just do 3 minutes. Some people decide they're going to do the full 10. And that's okay too. I'm here for the long haul. And yes, you do not have to show your faces. And thank you for answering those questions. Those of you who've been answering the questions that have been coming up, this is what a learning community is all about, guys. This is what it's all about. Because let's say, I know for a fact, after you turn in the midterm, I'm going to be taking a learning experience of myself, and I'm going to be going to an NFL football game for the first time in my life. So I will be incommunicado for a couple of days. And some of you may be freaking out. And other of you will have to answer some questions. Now, I will be checking. I'll be sitting in a hotel room for some of that time, so I will be checking my emails and my social medias. But just in case, because I know some of you will send an email at 1 o'clock in the morning and freak out until 7 o'clock in the morning waiting for an email response. This learning community may mitigate some of that fear and that anxiety. No. Sorry, you do not have to stay for the whole live. I'm getting ready to end this anyway, so it's okay. It's okay. Usually I'll try to keep these to about a half an hour. And I will be posting throughout the semester, I'll be posting other taped interviews and other side projects. Like I may do little lectures on certain things depending on what we talk about. Because I probably, honestly, will be posting some lectures about 20th century history, just so that you can watch those at your leisure and you don't have to sit and listen to me babble on about it and get distracted by comments and whatnot. All right. So this is the first lecture, and the first lecture is coming to an end. Again, I just wanted to talk about basic humanities, and I knew that there would be lots of questions because you guys have all been asking questions, and I've been trying to send the emails, but I also know that some of you have been waiting, thinking that either you had to show up here or that you had to be here at 9:30. And again, if you want to go to bed at 9:30 and wake up in the morning and watch this before you go off to work, that's fine too. That's what the comment section is all for. Okay. So yes, most assignments are videos. All assignments are videos, except for commenting, right? Think about it. How many of you have read an academic article in the last year as opposed to watching a YouTube video? Anyone? Anyone? How many of you know what a TED Talk is? All right. How many of you know what a um, MacArthur grant is? So if you know what a TED Talk is and you don't know what a MacArthur grant is, you know why I'm teaching this on YouTube. If you know what a MacArthur grant is and you know what a TED Talk is, you probably also know why I'm teaching this on YouTube. It's because this is the way that we learn. So I'm coming to the places in which we learn. And if colleges can only give credit and assessment, then that's what they can give. And I will give you credit and assessment if you sign up through the college. But I think that we can all benefit from learning from the world. So we're going to do it in the world. Okay. So any last minute questions? I've got a couple minutes before we sign off. And if you need to leave again, you are free to leave. And I know somebody had asked about what's the after show. It's just because I cannot calm down after having a lecture. So I go onto YouTube and I will speak, or go onto TikTok, and I'll probably talk with some of my friends who were here, who are taking the class too. And we will chat about things and answer questions, and maybe even talk about, I don't know. This morning we were talking about book burning. So during email checking time. So again, 3 to 10 minutes is ideal. You guys have a great night. Hey, I love it, LinkedIn user. You've seen a MacArthur Foundation video and TED Talks. I love it. I love it. All right. You guys all have a wonderful evening. We'll be here again on the 4th of October live, but I will see you on these social media streets in the meantime. If you have questions and concerns, you know where to find me, doc@humanities101.org or through the school website. Have a good night.